Hey guys, this is Grill6624 here with a new series of a game that's semi-popular on YouTube, but not nearly as popular as something like Minecraft or really anything that's huge right now. Fortnite, PUBG, anything like that, Rainbow Six. It's not one of those mainstream games, and it's in fact been out for a while, but they've been changing a lot with it lately. It's Factorio. So pretty much Factorio is a open world sandbox type uh, building and survival game, but it's much more of like steampunk industrial revolution like systems instead of Minecraft's, like very basic, Stone Age type thing. But Redstone being an exception to that, of course. But this has much more steampunk. It really is just a steampunk game, a steampunk sandbox. So I'm gonna set up the settings with you all here just so you can see what's going on. I'm going to set it up with a rail world. Everything here seems to be really nice. Resource patches are large and spread far apart. I like that because it forces you to go out and explore, but it also doesn't make you relocate your mining system every 5 minutes whenever you're doing some type of large project or eating up a lot of resources. Like, you do end up eating up a ton of resources. And also, the biter is not creating new bases or re-expanding. That's really nice because a lot of this game, if you don't have that, ends up becoming just sitting there and trying to defend your base. And that's not really what this game's about. It's more about just kind of going at it and having fun and building things. While defense is... oh, crap. I didn't see if this was a good world or not. I guess it's going to be a good world. And things are happening. Okay, there we go. I haven't had that happen before. So let's see how our map looks. Okay, so we at least have all the basic resources. We'll have to spread out a bit. Actually. So I'm actually going to restart that because you really do have to manually regenerate a world or generate a preview of a world to really see what's going on and to make sure that you're not missing any resources, because a lot of times it sits there and you're missing a major resource anywhere nearby and there's just nothing going on. By the time I actually start spraying out, I'll forget where these resources are, so it will be much less of a cheating type thing and more of like a making sure that I'm going to be able to do anything here. So the main problem here is that there's, for example, a really low uranium deposit. I mean, we have those three, and then the rest of the observable area doesn't really have any uranium. When uranium, it's the second you actually start mining it, you need a ton of it. And of course, it has the basic resources automatically there. You see, that's a decent patch of uranium that you can actually build off of. But this one actually does not have much of any type of oil, which is even more important because you cannot complete the game without a ton of oil. You can complete the game without much uranium. Okay, so we have the basic resources here. We have a decent patch of oil, large patch of stone, extra large patch of iron, more iron, a large copper patch, large uranium patch. This seems like the type of world that you would actually want to see. And there are multiple large iron patches as you spread out, so this seems quite perfect. With the first large patch we're going to get is oil, and that's kind of easy to really make a large system to. So we'll be starting kind of in this area, which means that we'll have major resources. We'll have an extra supply of coal and our water source, which is very important. And this large iron patch, which will probably be our main iron patch for quite some time. Of course, I'll have radars so I can remember where all this stuff is, or re-find it at least. And then sooner or later we'll be coming down here for copper, iron. I'll have to kind of remember to go down because everything major is down, it seems like. So that should work, but I'm gonna go for one that's just a bit better, hopefully. This one looks very nice. Large iron patch, large copper and iron patch, uranium, oil, and of course our basic resources in the center. I think this is ours. This is our world. And the reason why I'm looking for a semi-perfect world is that spending your time just running around looking for resources, that gets quite tedious after a while, and it just doesn't make sense to continue on that path. But with this, you kind of have everything ready to go. And as long as you invest some time and energy into radar systems, then you're fine. So let's go and start here. So the first thing that you're always going to want to do is find the nearby coal patch, which seems to be up over here. One of the big things I forgot to check for was if there's a coal patch near water, but I can work my way around that. If not, there should be enough coal for a little while. In fact, quite a while. So first I'm going to start off by mining some trees. Of course, at the beginning it's very slow to mine almost anything. Including coal. In fact, let's do that to start off with. And that will start off there, which will give us some basic resources. Cut down another tree. Now, I might have other people start on this Factorio world later, just to join in and kind of start helping out. I'm planning on building a bus system, for those of you that know what that is. And I have a guy that's really into bus systems in this game that could really be a huge help, but he is in New York right now, which is about a 5-hour, I guess more of like a 10-hour drive from where I live. Very, very far away. Very far from his computer, so it's going to be kind of difficult for him to really do much of anything with Factorio right now. Later on, though, you should be able to join in and start helping out. So right now I'm going to get some ores. I just made a pickaxe, which makes mining a whole lot easier and a whole lot faster. A lot of times I forget that you can just kind of get a pickaxe, and it gets rather tedious after a very short amount of time. So what do I need for a second burner? 9 iron, 5 rock, or stone. Don't get too many. No, I got just enough. And there should be an iron patch over here. So I'm going to mine all the way up to 9 iron because I'd like to keep a little bit on me to begin with. Or actually, there's no reason to keep it, so that should be perfect. I'll get more rather quickly once I actually start having a automatic coal generation system. So you'll see how that works in just a second. So I put that in there, take my copper out. I'm actually going to need to jump start this, so let's go with 1. So let's make another burner mining drill. And as you can see, both of these are going to fill each other, meaning that we should have a good supply of coal no matter what we do. Now usually I want to make a 2x2 system of that, so let's go ahead and get some more iron. And as you can see on the right center of the screen, there's an amount of iron in this one little block. And as you can see, the farther towards the center you get, the more you have. And of course, here's the total amount of iron on that entire vein. And this is oil. Oil is based on yield by how much you get. There's stone. You've got coal, stone, and copper, iron. Those are your four main center resources. Of course, excluding water, which you're going to need to create basic power through steam. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to steal that for now, because that should have a good amount of coal in it. Yeah, it has 16 coal in it, so that will run for quite a long time. That should also have... Okay, so I have the coal for it. And that will go there, that will go there, and I'm actually, as those two are running, because that's going to take some time to run, I'm actually going to clear an area here, just kind of clear a visible path between these two resources, because we kind of spawned in a foresty type area, which is going to get quite annoying to build on quite quickly, so pretty soon we're going to have a ton of wood to just kind of use as a fuel, a backup fuel system. But for now, let's just kind of make this hole in the forest. There we go. Let's take this one out too. Let's just take them out to where we have pretty much the most obvious area we can get to. So that seems pretty visible. Yeah, it should work. And of course this has nowhere to put its coal, so it's not really doing anything. But now I should have a pretty large, amount of iron. And now all I need to do is manually mine stone, which I can actually just temporarily put this here, and then put some coal in there. And do I have any basic storage? What did I just build? Oh, repair kit. Oops. I guess that'll work. Let's go ahead and go with iron chest. So now that should be... Okay, so I'm going to ignore the tutorials because I've played this game before, so I know how it basically runs. Okay, so let's go ahead and... Can I make another miner yet? No, I need more iron. Interesting. Oh, I guess that iron chest uses a lot of iron. So let's get that. Okay, now what am I missing? More stone. So I'm going to come back here, grab more stone. Now I should be able to make another one of those. So now we should be able to have our automatic coal generation system back up and running, as long as we give it some fuel, which I'm actually just going to give it all 100 of this wood. Which of course means that only this is going to fill up, but that means that I should be able to fill this up with 50 coal pretty quickly. Or 100 coal, I think 100 is the maximum for any single storage. I forget what the maximum is now I think about it. We'll have to see. But as you can see, this one isn't running because it doesn't really have anywhere to put it, i.e. here. So now let's grab more of the stone. Let's grab more of the iron. You should still be running pretty well. Let's give you some more coal. And there we go. So that's going to be our 4 mining drills for our coal square. So that should go like that. And then that will go like that. That will rotate. And then as you can see, all 4 of the outputs are facing in a circular fashion. That means that I should be able to just kind of go through it and collect a ton of coal really quickly. As you can see, this one's collecting coal. This one is not because it has wood in it. Now it has more wood in it. But this one, and this one are all collecting coal. This one is about out of coal. So let's also start getting some copper going. Copper is going to be the exact same process as iron. You're first going to have to mine it, and then you're going to have to smelt it. Which means I need one of these. And for now, one of these, because I do not have the electricity yet to do anything otherwise. So let's put that there. And I thought, oh, I guess I made that in the wrong order. Let's put that there. Then let's actually clear out some wood while our coal is filling up, because it probably does not have much yet. And we also need to clear out this wood anyways. So let's go ahead and put that in there, that in there. So now those should be creating copper. So our next step, because we have basic resources really, is to start working towards at least some basic power. So first we're going to want an offshore pump, which is going to require copper. I will probably set my power system over here, since this is kind of a nice open area away from the mining, because you don't really want to be mining where, or actually I'm going to have to connect it towards the coal, so I might set up a basic power system right here. Yeah, that will work pretty well. So I'll set it up right here. So I'll set my first one in this kind of little island area, and then we'll kind of have the pipes going up here and expand out that way. I know that's not the most efficient way to do it, but it will look pretty decent. So what we're going to want is the pipe to be right there. And then next we're going to want, or actually that's not really going to work, is it? Because I need to get coal over to that area. So let's do, actually we could probably even do it all the way up here. It doesn't really matter how large the water area is as long as it exists. And I'll probably expand my stone up here instead. Yeah, so that should work. Okay, so now let's get, we need a boiler and then a steam engine. So they go in a fashion like this. So a boiler and then 2 steam engines, I believe. And then that requires coal, which once I get an electric inserter I can do that automatically, but for now I'm probably, or not really coal, but any type of fuel, so I'll probably put wood in it actually at first. Once I get the boilers installed at least. This must be a larger tree. Oh, I'm out of. That's why. So your pickaxe does break. And you can collect multiple pickaxes in that slot, but I'm going to wait until I have a steel pickaxe to do that. Because there are pickaxe upgrades and I end up making about 50 iron pickaxes, wasting most of them in the process. So let's clear out a decently sized area here. Okay, so now keep on pressing escape for my inventory, or yeah, inventory and crafting. So let's go with at least a single steam engine for now. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that running. And that should build up steam, which should be creating power. Of course, it isn't really creating much right now because there's nothing really to connect it to, but that will change very soon. So we're going to want another steam engine, and at least a little bit more iron. And you can see that one's filling with steam too. So we need more wood. Well, I can oblige to that. As I'm clear cutting a forest. And there is a, as you can see, there's pollution there. There is a pollution system in the game, but because of how I have it set up, because I have it on Rail World and the enemies don't really expand, I don't think it matters, because usually the pollution causes the enemies to kind of expand towards you and start attacking you. Of course, they're unhappy because they're being polluted. But I don't believe that that's a system for a Rail World. So let's go ahead and steal some of this coal. We'll put... Yes, we might as well fill that up. And then that's running on wood for now, so that should work. Now we have a decent collection of copper, which means that we should be able to start creating cables. First thing we're going to want to do, actually the very first thing we're going to want to do is get an electric mining drill so that we can destroy that setup. Yeah, let's put that there. Yeah, so we should be able to break this up at this point. Set this up, I'm going to want facing down. And then as you can see, the power only expands to a certain amount. And you can only place the power poles a certain distance apart. Of course, this can be upgraded with better poles, but we do not have the research for that yet, which there is a research system in the game. It's just I have not gotten advanced enough to really take part in that yet. So now let's go on to creating some transport belts, which will be some of the more useful things in the game. But of course they cost a ton of iron. And I believe I actually placed this for now, that is one too far, so I'm going to want it to be actually right there. And you'll see why in just a second. So now that power is set up, and now I can also set up another cable right here, which will be used actually for later purposes, and you'll see why, probably not even this episode, but later on. Why I'm doing this, I'm going to set it in front of it. And next I'm going to be creating a standard inserter. The burner inserters are much slower, and they use fuel to work. The regular inserters work off of power, which means you don't have to be constantly filling them with power to make them work. Also, one of the better things is that, say I need some coal, I can hold F to pick items up within a certain radius off of the, well, really off the ground, but including the transport belts, which allows me to pick up a ton of items, say for example coal, that I need all at the same time. Although for now, since I have nothing better to really, I guess, nah. I was thinking about doing a system with the, with these, but there's no real reason to do that. Should be enough coal generation for quite a while with just this amount. As you can see, it fills up quite quickly. And how's my power generation doing? Okay, so more than enough for now. let's go ahead and start clearing out another large area so that I can actually start making decent amounts of iron, because our next upgrade is going to need to be a larger iron field. Iron mining production field, at least. So let's go ahead and clear out all these trees in this area, and I'm just going to do one strip for now because I will not really have any need for an extreme amount of iron. And where am I going to be setting up my bus? I'm probably going to set it up vertically in this area, but for now we don't really worry about that. Buses are for a much later system, when I actually really have a decent amount of all of my resources. Okay, so put you in there with that. Put you away for now. And I'm actually gonna want more iron pretty soon, but that will happen. And I really don't like wasting iron, so I'm probably going to have one of the sides be kind of uneven. And you'll see why in a second. Okay, so you can see it now. I'm probably going to have one set of iron miners along here and one set of iron miners along here. That's going to be kind of inefficient, but right now speed efficiency is not really what I'm going for. With these first few veins, they're very small, so you're going to want to grab as much of it as you can. So let's go with there, and we'll set power behind it. Going for some more of these. There's the longest distance for that. Then we'll go ahead and start going up and along here. There we go. So that should now be, yep. And then I can actually transport this iron like this. And actually, I'm going to go back to this system for now until I get a decent collection of iron. Oh yeah. Have to set up an inserter. Does not automatically go inside of the burner. Although if I can get a second inserter and a second burner, we can double our production by putting you one farther down, you right there, and we'll use wood this time. As you can see, the inserters can keep up with the stone furnace, almost exactly actually. Now that's going to be the production system until I can get more transport belts. In fact, let's go along here and actually do that. And now I can actually move these out of the iron chunk. So what you really don't want to do is have these things actually sitting in the iron chunk, because that's iron that can be mined. So we'll do that and that. Filling there and there. And we're going to want power probably right there would be a good place to put it. Oh, put these the wrong way. You can press R to rotate blocks, by the way. Of course, you can make a system like this where it gets stuck if you want to. Really anything. There's a lot of quirky things about this game that you can do to just kind of control what's going on. One of the biggest things that I'm going to want to do pretty soon is get a laboratory. Just so I can actually get automation, I guess, is nice, but I really like logistics. How do I get the first level of logistics? That's stack inserter. Can I not get the first level of logistics yet? Ha, there it is. So that's really what I'm going to want to research first. As you can see, these research things have a cost of a certain amount of science packs of certain types. Those are all the types of science packs. And they each take, all of these are craftable. And that when you get the space science pack, you get from actually going to space with, I believe, something research based, and it will bring down, I think, 1,000 science packs. So for now, I'm going to end the episode here. Actually, it's actually running really long. I need to shorten these episodes a lot. But for now, this is the first episode. We've gotten power. That's actually pretty nice. Decent power. Decent iron production. This will be upgraded later with more mining drills once we actually are smelting as much as we're mining. But for now, I will see you all next time.